Greetings, fellow pilgrims. Radamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of a new series playing Surviving Ceres. If you would like to skip the game's overview or the setup of this series, please use YouTube chapters. Surviving Ceres is a game where you construct a base and start exploiting the moon, Ceres, for resources with the ultimate goal to terraform it into a tropical paradise. Build refineries, drills, farms, and assemblers, and prepare the base for pilgrim habitation. Arrange for pilgrims to move to your base and work towards the goal of terraforming. The biggest barrier to success, Ceres has endemic life that is both massive and violent. So the only good bug is a dead bug. In this specific series, I'll be playing on normal difficulty, with all the settings set to normal, which comes out to 440% difficulty multiplier. And let's get going. So the game itself doesn't really have a soundtrack, so I'm going to use the same soundtrack that I've been using for Stationeers. My pilgrim's name is Radamant, and my save game is Stream. So here is the difficulty settings, where you can ramp them up or down, and if you don't want to have to eat or drink or breathe oxygen or whatever else, you could adjust that here. But I'm leaving it all to normal. Now, you start with some basic items. You start with an iron pick, a hub, which is like a central building with 4 connection points, a door, a basic base constructor, MREs, purified water, a mission control, oxygen tanks, a straight connector, 5 potato seeds, a workshop, which is like a really large building where you do fabrications in, and a mission briefing data pad. You get to pick what else you want to launch with. So you can launch with raw materials. So I could say like, hey, launch with a bunch of iron ore, and you're constricted by your funding and the cargo capacity, the actual physical weight. For that in mind, I am going to start to pick things that I'm going to want. So, I might go ahead and get tomato seeds, corn seeds, melon seeds, because we start with potato seeds. And then for prefabs, let's go ahead and get an oxygen unit. And a wind turbine. And then back in seeds, 3 potato seeds. So we're launching with 3 potato seeds, tomato seeds, corn seeds, melon seeds, an oxygen unit, and a wind turbine. Launch. And away we go to the surface of Ceres. And cheers. Thank you, Mike and Glitch and Guilty Ghost. So here we are on the surface of Ceres. The mission objectives that they want us to work on is going to be in the top right. So you'll see it up there. So like locate a large flat plateau and place the hub to begin construction. And then press tab to default open your inventory. And then you can put the hub on a quick slot. So if I hit like iron pick 1, hub 2, I put a hub on the 2 slot and I can build it. One important thing is you can also build from like Skycam. So you can build from like a top-down view as well. Not that you have to. Alright, inside of the rocket that I'm in, this rocket 1 here, is the extra stuff that I came down with, like the oxygen and the wind turbine. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate said plateau and put down the hub. So we poke our heads out of the rocket. Before I do anything else, it's important to note, health, air, food, water, stamina, and carry weight are in the bottom left. Within the rocket, I get oxygen. When I leave the rocket, my oxygen will start to deplete, and then food and water is depleting all the time. So just keep that in mind. So the flat plateau that they intend for us to use is this one over here to the, I'm going to call it north. I don't know, whatever. And we're going to trudge on over there through the thick snow and drop our hab down. Looks pretty cold? Yes. There is not like a temperature meter, but obviously Ceres is like an ice moon. So if I hit 2, you can see the hab here. And I'm going to rotate it so it's mostly squared up with the mining platform that we got out there. And drop it right here. There's the hab. And then I'm going to put a door on it. And now we can go inside. If you're wondering, the hab does not have oxygen yet. And it wants me to place down the basic base constructor, which I will temporarily, because this is not where I want it permanently, drop it in the corner here. And then it wants me to craft and place down a machine constructor. So this base constructor here can make simple pieces like a power station, which allows you to hook up power to your base, a research station, hallways, storage, refinery, manufactory, farm, refinery, fuel refinery, rather, regular refinery. Some of these things you start with, like mission control or whatnot. So you don't necessarily need to make all of them. It's worth noting. So in order to make a machine constructor, we need 25 iron ore. And what I'm going to do is actually move some of my starting stuff into the machine inventory here as like storage, makeshift storage. I'm also going to read this data pad. Mission brief. As a pilgrim on Ceres, your mission is simple. Establish the foundation of a viable human colony, and then bring in colonists to further advance construction and begin terraforming the planet for human colonization. To do this, you must explore, gather, craft, and build the means to survive. Once you have secured your survival, you must begin manufacturing, unlocking technologies and upgrades, and exporting goods for funding, and laying the basic requirements to bring in colonists. You are not alone on Ceres, but we have determined that any life forms you encounter will not be hostile to you. That's a lie. However, we attempted to begin terraforming in the past. The local life forms got aggressive. Yes, okay. When this time comes, you must be ready to defend yourself using various military equipment crafted or found on Ceres. The following few pages will outline critical mission information regarding the basics. Gathering resources. The most basic form of resource collection is hand-smashing resource nodes found on Ceres. These nodes yield resources amount based upon your efficiency stat and give a great early game experience to level up your pilgrim and improve your pilgrim. You can harvest deposits and drill to automate collection. Build your base. You must place down a hub, and then it has snap points. So the snap points are these red things where you can attach other buildings, hallways, etc. for reference. And then it wants me to put a basic base constructor and a machine constructor down. I haven't done the machine constructor yet because we do not have the materials for it yet. Powering your base. You will need a wireless power station module, and then that can be found in the tools and power constructor found in the machine constructor. Okay, cool. So before we run out of oxygen, let's get back to the ship. And we just looted that pod there, which was a milestone, and we gained funding. I'll explain what milestones are in greater detail in a bit. But basically, there's a bunch of individual things that we could do on this planet, like having a colonist harvest its first potato, or going swimming, or things like that, that would give us money. All right, this data pad is the supply drop pad, so let's read that one. The supply drop will aid in your efforts on Ceres. All humanity is counting on you. We are aiming this pod for the flat plateau. It has a one-floor teleporter, a hub door, a basic refinery, and storage container. The teleporter allows you to go up and down a level. Pro tip, deep drill to automate collection. Manual farming does not give experience, but provides more ore per hit. So, you know, doing that. So basically, you have some ore nodes that are deep, some are not. The deep ones you can construct drills on, or you can mine them manually if you absolutely need the materials. And that's basically what that said. All right, I'm going to go ahead and transfer the rest of the stuff that's in the rocket into my inventory. We've topped off our air since entering here. And then getting a little bit of iron because we're going to need some resources to start building stuff. Well, thank you for checking out a live stream. I appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and get a storage down so I can actually store some stuff. And everything I'm building right now is like very temporary. And eventually will be a little bit more high-tech, complex, etc. Okay. I would like to put the workshop down next. And I'm going to put the workshop here. It's a giant room that allows you to set up production facilities on it, which is fantastic. The next thing I would like is like a four-way hallway, which I don't believe I have unlocked yet. The other thing I could do is to make a hub. So in order to make a hub, I hit T as in Tango, transfer iron ore into the machine inventory, and then pick the blueprint I want. And then and this type of constructor does not require base power, so this will work just fine. Is the oxygen inside the ships limited? No. It will keep you from dying. Okay, so now we have a hub, workshop, hub, teleporter, and the teleporter allows you to go up and down. All right, I am going to put points, my talent points into move speed. There is health, stamina, oxygen, food, water, weight, move speed, and efficiency, and I want move speed. All right, the next thing we want to do is to build the machine constructor, and I just have enough ore for that. And while we build that, I am going to make my way over to the rocket so that I can fill up my air again. I do have oxygen tanks that I could consume, but I can't manufacture the oxygen tanks yet, so I think they're probably best to save if we are about to asphyxiate, rather than just like convenience of not having to walk back to the rocket. All right, air's back and full. Perfect. So you can harvest manually this is like a deep deposit. I mean, I wouldn't, because it's so inefficient. But if you are desperate for a certain resource, that's just fine. That there is copper. And interestingly, copper on Ceres is a harder metal than iron, so you need a better pick to harvest copper. So there's no point in me going after that just yet. Just getting a little bit more iron, and then heading back to do the machine constructor. Well, Omnom and Tower, thank you both for checking out your first stream. I appreciate it. All right, so machine constructor is 25 iron ore. We already made one. And I'm going to start placing things down in the workshop here. I think the workshop is going to be the primary area where we build things. It's open and big for that purpose. And now the next thing we want to make is the tool and power constructor, which is here. And this requires 25 iron ore. Done. I'm going to eat an MRE, drink some water. And then I'm going to move this machine. Actually, you know what? I don't have the means to move that just yet. I will soon. All right, so this is the tool and powers constructor, which allows us to get running power on the base. Perfect. And this is the copper pick, which is made of iron ore. And then we've got some power producers like solar panels as well. So the next thing it wants me to do is to bring power up to the base. And for that, we need the wireless power station. But before I do the wireless power station, I'm going to make a hub. So, in order to make a hub, let's empty out our pockets because we are weighed the heck down by a lot of stuff we don't necessarily need. Make our way back to the rocket and get more iron. So, big picture here. I want most of the buildings that are required that you don't interact with on the second floor, and then the buildings that I interact with on the first floor. So some buildings you are more or less a set and forget building, like the wireless power hub. Once you have one, you don't really mess with it, and therefore I don't really need it on the footprint of the bottom floor of our facility. So I'm going to design in such a way that the important stuff is down below, and the stuff we interact with is down below, and the stuff we do not is up above. That will be my design ethos going forward. And I also saw a glowing light over here, which usually indicates another supply pod, so... Uh-oh, we have a blizzard coming in. So the blizzard really only, like, hurts my visibility. It's not going to actually hurt me. Here we go, we got some ores. And we can also salvage the pod for some materials as well. So we got a bunch of iron bars, copper bars. Okay, this weather is way loud. As much as I would like to roleplay a meteorologist in a snowstorm, I always got a good giggle out of that. It's like, they're like, don't go out because it's dangerous, says the people that are outside where it's dangerous. It's like, got it. Don't do as I say, not as I do. Cosmic Otters, thank you for the resub. Okay, so we want the wireless power station. That's 50 iron ore. But before we get that, I want the hub. I want yet another hub, I know. Okay, we have the wireless power station and the hub. And I'm going to send to the second level and set those up as well. So this is a hub on top of a hub. And then above the workshop, I'm going to set the wireless power station. So we don't have any power producers or consumers yet. So now it's time to put down the wind turbine I started with. And then maybe some other power production facilities as well. And I'll read that datapad soon. So for now, and everything can be moved around relatively simple. I'll set that up there. And grab the oxygen unit as well. At the moment, I don't really care where the oxygen unit goes. I'm just going to drop it here, but I will be moving that sometime later. And we have the power on. We produce 10 megawatts. We consume 5 megawatts. And this thing here produces oxygen for the base. I'll be moving that later, but for now, at least, the base's lights are on and power is on. And that's mostly what I was after. All right. The next thing it wants me to do is to acquire a means to sustain my air, food, and water. That means I got to... So I did the oxygen unit. To grow food, I will need a basic farm. And then to cook the food, I need a food processor. And to have more seeds, I need a seed extractor. And to create water, I will need a liquid processor. All right, so let's work on that next. Before I do that, let's go ahead and move things out of this central entry hub. So for that, I want a deconstruction tool, which allows you to move things around for free. And reading the basic resource pack, they dropped some resources for my survival. Perfect. I'm going to set this on 6. And what this allows you to do is you just walk up to anything you want to move, and you get it back. So now I can put the basic base constructor in here next to the other constructors rather than have it be in the entryway hallway. All right. A farm requires 5 iron blocks and 20 blocks of ice. And then we'd also want to probably figure out exactly how things are going to get laid out. Because we want... Eventually, when we bring in NPCs, the NPCs that you bring in work. They actually physically travel to work sites and the like. Which means that you should lay it out in such a way that it is, like, convenient and walkable. Because if it is not convenient and not walkable, it will... you'll have a bunch of NPCs, like, wander around inefficiently, and it will suck for them. So, we would like to avoid that, in other words. Okay, so I think because we are on dwindling food and water, it's going to be more important for us to just get a basic farm up and not have to worry about exactly where it goes, but it will also consume 10 megawatts of power, which is more power than we currently have. So we're going to need to produce more power, which means we should probably incorporate solar or lunar panels, which means we need copper pick. And a copper pick means we need iron ore. So it's a long list of things we'll need before we are able to do what we need to do. So let's go get a little bit more iron so that we can make a copper pick, get a bunch of copper, make some solar panels. And if you're wondering, solar panels do indeed work during the night. They work 24/7, 365 with no efficiency differences. So we'll set those up as a means to produce our initial power. And yes, we are super strong. When we mine things, it goes flying. Somehow, we don't lose any efficiency here. Everything ends up in our inventory. By the power of magic. And while we're out here, I'll get some ice too. I got plenty of carry weight. So we have a decent amount of resources now. Let's put these to good use. Make ourselves a copper pick. Grab a whole bunch of copper and make some lunar panels so that we can afford to power up a farm. If you're wondering, if you exceed your power grid, everything shuts down. So if I installed a farm without upgrading the power grid, we would just lose power. It would not be ideal. So over in the tools, here's a copper pick. Another important note, if you stop crafting, you destroy said resources. They're earmarked for the project you're working on, and if you interrupt that process, you will lose the resources. So if you queue up a whole bunch of really important, crafting, and then you interrupt it by setting stop crafting, you will, in effect, destroy resources. So you've been sufficiently warned at this point. That is I'm gonna say it's a feature of the game. Because I figure if it was not supposed to be a feature, they would have changed it. So now we're going after copper so that we can make some lunar panels. And I'm just going to keep plugging my move speed efficiency because I want to be a speedy boy. And if you're wondering what ends up happening is once you resolve your power outage problem that you caused, you run over to the your power station and you flip the breaker switch, essentially. I'm in the same in every game I play, Speedy Boy? Yes. Somewhat out of respect for you guys, so I get more done quickly. Because, you know, being slow is... I can't think of a lot of benefits of being slow. So I am turning all the copper we've mined up so far into lunar panels, and I'll just get a little bit more resources, and then we'll start to build the farm so that we can not die. Because I have one bottle of water left, and we're gonna want some hydration soon. That's a fair point. If you didn't like the way I play, you wouldn't be tuning in. Makes sense to me. Alright, in order to get the farm, we need 20 blocks of ice and 5 iron bars, which I do not believe we have. So a block of ice is interestingly made in a refinery. So I am going to drop a refinery here. We have enough power for it, I hope. Put in ice and craft blocks of ice in the refinery. Yes, yes, with heat. Don't overthink it. You'll hurt yourself. We can also rename storage. So, entry storage. And that was a milestone. I know, surprising. Alright, so there's our blocks of ice. There's an iron. And iron plus blocks of ice equal farm. Now, what I'm going to be doing is putting the farm down in like a temporary spot to absolutely indefinitely be moved later. Just because I want it up and running sooner, but then I'll get a better location for it later. So I'll just put it here. Now, in order to start farming, we need to load this thing up with ice. And then plant seeds in the trays, and that will start growing our food. So let's do that. We've got our potato seeds that we brought in. You can fit like 8 potatoes on each side, roughly. And then while we're at it, we might as well grab our other seeds. Food does not spoil, mind you. So I can grow like melons or corn or tomatoes and then just like leave them to be harvested later or turned back into seeds later or something like that. But there we go. Stick the ice in and hit start. And when it's running, you'll see that the potatoes start to grow, or everything starts to grow, and the irrigation is online. All right, the next thing we're going to want here is a way to turn the food or the raw food into food. So we're going to need a liquid processor in order to turn the ice into drinkable water. And then we're going to want a seed extractor to turn the crops back into seeds. And then we're going to want a food processor to turn the crops also into food. So here's a food processor. And then the seed extractor costs 10 iron bars, which I do not at the moment have. So that's to be grabbed soon. I'll put the food processor here. So, again, ice for the liquid processor and iron bars for the seed extractor is what we're after. And then in a refinery over here, I'm going to start refining the iron into bars that we've got. So we're heading out to try to get more ice, which is easy to spot because it glows pretty nice. We need 100 ice to make the liquid processor. And that will allow us to turn ice into drinking water. And then all of those manual mining is also helping to like level us up, which is its own benefit. And then any extra ice that I have can go into the farm to make sure that the farm has plenty of water for growing. This is a high-value export material, zirconium, which we can eventually export for big bucks. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. I also just fulfilled some other milestone. I don't even know what it is. Is there fall damage? I've not taken damage from falling, but like, so maybe? I'm not sure. You love the snow sounds? I do like the crunching snow. Alright, we're low on food. Alright, we've got plenty of ice. So over to the machine constructor, drop a stack of it, and create a liquid extractor. Grab our iron bars. And head on over to make a seed extractor. So the liquid extractor allows you to turn ice into water. So drop the ice in and craft water. And then the seed extractor, oops, allows you to turn crops that you've grown into, fine, I'll put it over here. Crops you've grown into, back into seeds. And for starters, we only know how to do that for potatoes. So the other crops that we're growing in here, which are actually done, we can turn into potato seeds. Because I still have some MREs to fulfill my food needs. Oh, the tomato's taking a while. So drop all 24 potatoes in and make 24 potato seeds out of it. I'm also going to keep my corn in there for now. Okay. Export a rocket back to Earth is the next mission objective above my head. So for that, we're going to need a fuel refinery and a grinder. Before I do any of that, though, I think we need mission control. Oh, I can't even move. So we have I'm on my second floor right now, where we have the power distribution, and we have 15 extra megawatts. The mission control here, I don't even think takes power. So let's drop it right here. And mission control allows you to track things. So it allows you to track the rocket management. So we have a rocket on Ceres and a rocket on Earth. It allows you to track terraforming, which we haven't set up yet. It allows you to track your colonists, which we don't have any yet. And also allows you to track your mission status. So our current mission status is to get ready for colonization by building a mess hall, barracks, and rec room, and producing oxygen. But then you can also see all of the other mission milestones. So research and technology gives us 2 million. Placing a drill gives us 2 million. Making a rocket fuel gives us 5 million. Registering a landing pad gives us 8 million, so on and so forth. And that adds to your funding. And you can add to your funding in multiple ways. One is that you can fulfill a milestone, or you can export goods back to Earth. All right, taking a look at what we've got. I would say we're going to want a fuel refiner. So in the base constructor here, we have a fuel refinery which costs 5 iron bar, 5 copper bar. And I don't have any copper. Oh, no, I have copper bars. So let's go get that made. And then we're also going to need a grinder for it as well, which is 10 iron bars, 10 copper bars, and we've got the materials for that as well. All right. In order to allow for some more like building flexibility, I might make some T-shapes so that we don't run out of like snap points. So I'm going to craft 2 of those. If at any point you want to pin a recipe, you can pin a recipe, and you can pin up to like 3 or 4 of them, and I'll show you how in just a moment. So let's say we wanted to make, well, it's still making a T-shape. Well, maybe I wanted the 4-way corridors. I'll get one of those too. Okay. What I'm curious about is if this fits here. It does not. You can kind of see it has a clipping issue on this side. Whereas if I put it on this side, it fits just fine. So the T-shapes probably won't work for this design because of the clipping that is caused by the refinery that I've set up. So I might adjust it so that it isn't an issue. Basically, what I'm trying to do is like big picture planning so I don't have collision problems later on. Meaning, the basic refinery that I set up is getting nuked. As is the T-shape. Oh, I didn't mean to nuke that. Misclick. I'm going to see if the 4 ways are going to be better going forward. So I have a basic refinery on one side, and let's see if I can fit a fuel roof. Actually, for now, I'm going to put the fuel refinery somewhere totally else. And this will make sense later. So here's our fuel refinery. Fuel refinery requires ice and coal. And coal is made by grinder. So let's go get the grinder unit and make some coal. I'll put the other hallways away for now. I'm going to put the grinder unit in the hub over here rather than our workshop. So in order to make coal, we need ice and copper ore in ground up together. So let's go get ice and copper ore. Thank you for tuning in to Surviving Ceres, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Radamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Radamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow pilgrims.